The town of Bomar locking down on its gate plan by hiring lawyers and a PR firm. Now at 6 o'clock, why neighboring cities are pushing back.
Some animals have been at the shelter for years, waiting for a family to call their own. Let's make this the last year for these two.
All right, booking a trip we know can be expensive, even if you opt out of travel insurance. Having said that, we're going to take a look at whether or not adding that insurance is worth the deal. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Drew Carney.
And I'm Corey Rose here with Katie LaSalle. Katie, today we're going to warm up again, maybe some storms later today.
We have the chance, so it's not going to be nearly as widespread, but a few spots may see some wet weather, specifically the northeastern plains. And around the Denver area this morning, let's take you outside. Happy Tuesday to everybody. We're under a partly to mostly cloudy sky, a pretty sunrise this morning. Temperatures very mild. We've been in the 60s, even around 70 degrees so far this morning here for the metro area. For today, it will, yes, again, be very warm, slightly above average temperatures. By 11 o'clock this morning, mostly sunny, low 80s. Midday today, it'll still be dry, 85 degrees by that point, and a high of 91. Starting to pick up a little bit of precipitation by 2 p.m. into portions of our northern Front Range high country. Not a lot of widespread wet weather, but right around 6 p.m. Denver east of the airport and across the plains, we do have that potential. So when the kids come home from school, should just be mostly cloudy and dry. Better chance for a little more moisture tomorrow. Details on your 7-day coming up. Brianna?
Hey, thank you so much. Right now, taking a live look for anyone taking I-76 at Sheridan Boulevard for your Tuesday morning. It's around 6 a.m. and traffic still very light out in the Commerce City area and other parts of I-76 near I-25, between I-25 and I-70. So close to Sheridan Boulevard and Federal as well. Switching things over to our main maps, I want to get to your drive times if you are taking the Commerce City area, taking I-76. So on the other side, right now, leaving Commerce City should take you about 11 minutes. We are seeing some stop and go traffic, but no crashes to report out in Commerce City. And then same story for anyone taking I-70, maybe heading to Denver International Airport. Right now, Pena Boulevard construction, not seeing anything happening right now. You have the green light in and out of DIA this morning, so no delays to report.
Brianna, thank you. Right now, Fort Collins police are searching for a missing 70-year-old woman. Police say Linda Cleveland was last seen last night. She's believed to be walking around. Police say Linda has a cognitive impairment and there are concerns for her safety. If seen, call 911 or the Fort Collins police.
A former Windsor police officer pleaded guilty to a domestic violence-related charge this week. Timothy Sebra was arrested in January. In March, Windsor police fired him, but he will not spend a day in jail. Instead, he was sentenced to 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service.
We're learning new details about the man accused of killing his wife, a Jeffco Public Schools teacher. According to court documents, Patrick Barnett called 911 Thursday morning and reported his wife, Lindsay Barnett, had died by suicide. He said she died in the shower and had been dealing with postpartum depression. Court documents show officers found blood all over the bed, which Patrick could not explain. Police say they were skeptical because a woman claiming to be Barnett's girlfriend called police to ask for a welfare check.
The superintendent of the Lookout Mountain Youth Detention Center has been placed on paid administrative leave pending an investigation. The Colorado Department of Youth Services made that decision. This letter was sent to Superintendent Lindsay Miller. It did not say what this investigation was exactly about, though. We do know the facility's program manager, Justin Tomsick, was also suspended. Tomsick and Miller are banned from talking with other Department of Human Services employees about issues under this investigation. They're also barred from department buildings without prior approval. The center, that is, closed for 2 months last year over what internal emails described as basic safety failures.
This morning, the tiny town of Bomar has hired reinforcements for its controversial gate project. Bomar wants to keep drivers who don't live there out by putting up gates at the entrances, and that plan has led to some neighboring cities threatening barricades of their own. Now, news reporter Mackenzie Stafford is live in Bomar for us with the latest developments. Mackenzie, this has been quite the back and forth for several months now.
That's right, Corey. Now, Bomar has actually moved to hire legal counsel and a PR firm to help out with all things gate related. Now, that all comes after a litany of criticism from those neighboring cities such as Denver and Littleton. One of the biggest complaints from the Littleton mayor is he says that these public funded roads here are meant to connect people to places, and he says gates do the opposite. Now, Bomar will have residents have access tags or a code code to be able to get in here. Well, Bomar didn't have a clear outline for the gates in last night's Board of Trustees meeting. It did sign on to a contract with Greenlight Strategies. For $300 an hour, the PR firm provides, quote, as needed assistance with media relations and crisis communications about the gates. Bomar says it needs the gates because people speed in the neighborhood, making it dangerous for kids.
You know, we hear from residents up in that area that Bomar residents speed through Littleton. And, you know, our response was not to close down those streets to keep the Bomar residents out.
The Littleton mayor suggests increasing enforcement or making the streets safer before closing them down. Now, he says last month the plan was to have one gate that would close during rush hour, but that construction would have likely started by now. So he says at this point, he doesn't know what the plan is. So right now, gates in Bomar, those plans are unclear as of this morning. Live in Bomar, Mackenzie Stafford, 9 News.
All right, thanks, Mackenzie. People in Pueblo, meanwhile, are calling for changes to the city's automated license plate reader cameras. A group describing themselves as nonpartisan organized a rally against the cameras on Monday. This group wants the city to remove the cameras or at the very least put stronger rules in place to limit how they're used to protect people's privacy. Critics of these cameras cite privacy violations and police misuse, but police say the cameras have helped them solve serious crimes a whole lot faster. The rally comes just a few days after some flock cameras were damaged across the Pikes Peak region.
Here to push people to do anything illegal. We're doing things in conversation with the city. People are angry, and if that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. We can't really stop that from happening. That's the police's job.
The protest was held ahead of yesterday's Pueblo City Council work session.
Food and beverage workers in Colorado are now able to get free counseling. The program stems from a new partnership between the nonprofit, the Southern Smoke Foundation, and the University of Denver School of Professional Psychology. It gives workers access to up to 20 no-cost counseling sessions. Services are provided by graduate student clinicians working under licensed supervision and are available through telehealth and in person.
Folks who work really hard, again, serving all of us, really deserve access to these types of services. Whether it feels like their problems are insurmountably large or if they're kind of like, I'm not sure if this merits seeking help. We're here to see everyone.
People can apply for these services right now. To qualify, workers must have been on the job for at least 6 months, working about 30 hours a week.
Wheat Ridge could soon join Denver and Douglas County in creating new rules for e-bikes and scooters. City leaders are considering rules that would set speed limits on multi-use trails, require helmets for minors, and also restrict some of the fastest e-bikes from certain trails. Officials say the proposal comes after residents raise concerns about speeds, especially along the Clear Creek Greenbelt. Police, on the other hand, say they're seeing more and more e-bikes and scooters all across the city. City council members also expressed concerns about younger riders, especially ones on high-speed e-motorcycles. Centennial, by the way, also considering new e-bike rules. Wheat Ridge City Council didn't take a vote on the proposed rules last night, and there's no timeline yet for when they may vote on them.
By now, you've probably heard about the death of the well-known and beloved bald eagle from California named Jackie. Her story will most likely end in Colorado. That's because there is a government officer in Commerce City that processes the remains of eagles from across the country. Some fans are petitioning for Jackie to be buried near her nesting spot, but federal law actually dictates that her remains be sent to the National Eagle Repository. The facility takes the remains and distributes feathers and other parts to federally recognized tribes. The tribes use those remains for religious and cultural ceremonies. In a statement, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says they're still working with officials in California to facilitate the transfer process and ensure that Jackie's remains are handled with care.
Dick's Sporting Goods is opening up its first House of Sport right here in Colorado. So take a look. It's a 100,000 square foot setup. It's in Thornton. It features a climbing wall, golf simulators, and a multi-sport cage where athletes can test out products and track their performance.
Okay, runners, this next story is for you. Registration for the Colfax Marathon opens today for the 21st Denver Colfax Marathon. Race weekend is May 15th and 16th. If you plan on running the race, now is the best time to register. The best prices are available for the first 500 people who register at runcolfax.org.
It is 6:08, and if you have a second, come take a look at the screen. What a beautiful sunrise. We have partly cloudy skies this morning. The sun is rising here from Lookout Mountain over downtown Denver. Some really pretty colors on this Tuesday morning. Your weather headlines for today. It's going to be very warm once again. Highs will be in the 90s. We do have an air quality alert in place until 4 o'clock, and the chance for a few isolated to scattered storms. I'll take you through the entire forecast after the break. Brianna.
Katie, thank you so much. We do have a brand new crash that we're tracking here in your traffic impact center. It's happening down south for anyone taking southbound I-25 right near Castle Pines Parkway. So a very shaky camera, not the best CDOT camera out here, but you're seeing crews arriving to the scene. This crash happened less than 10 minutes ago. We could see that all lanes are partially blocked except that far right lane if you're taking southbound I-25. Here in my full traffic, I'm going to give you those drive times, especially if you're down in the Castle Rock area taking southbound I-25.